Chairman sir, co-panelists and friends, a very good afternoon. I would like to compliment the Indic Research Forum for organizing this conference on a very important subject and giving me a chance to present views on importance of Andaman and Nicobar Command. The presentation would be covered as shown on the slide. The great Indian strategist Chanakya had said that by being alert, you can keep an eye on every movement of the enemy. As has been brought out, watching China is become very, very critical for India for its stability and maintaining its prestige. These words very aptly signify the role of Andaman and Nicobar Command. As we all know, India currently has multiple problems on its platter to tackle: pandemic effects, Afghanistan, Pakistan and China issues, instabilities in Indo-Pacific and Indian Ocean region have a bearing on India's geo-economic, political stability as well as security. Impact of these issues on India's global prestige can be very significant, and the deft handling of the situation has become utmost necessary for India. The task is really arduous because of the limited resources available to India. Though various measures have been initiated to stabilize its economy and tackle situation on various other fronts, a lot more certainly needs to be done if we want to be relevant in IOR. This is where India's Andaman and Nicobar Joint Services Command would play a very vital role. Before we delve into the analyzing factors related to the importance of Andaman Nicobar Command, it would be necessary for us to briefly focus on the current geopolitical scenario in Indo-Pacific and Indian Ocean regions. These regions are undoubtedly critical for the security and economic well-being of India. China's hegemonic behavior in Indo-Pacific region in general and in South China Sea in particular, militarization and creation of artificial islands are all detrimental to the freedom of navigation and rule-based order in Indo-Pacific region. It is indisputable that open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region is important for maintaining peace, economic and political stability, safety and security in that area as well as in IOR. In addition, China's illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing activities and surreptitious survey operations in Indian Ocean region also pose a danger to the long-term economic stability and security of India and other littoral countries in the region. As if this wasn't enough, predatory financial investment by China in countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, et al. Have changed the geostrategic calculus in IOR. Further, China's String of Pearls project also has significant implications for India's security. China-Pakistan nexus, as a part of the Belt and Road Initiative, like the Gwadar port, China-Pakistan economic corridor pose their own problems for India. On economic front, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, led by China, has its unique implications for India. In view of the above, it is imperative for India to have a comprehensive strategy to tackle problems faced by China and maintain its importance in Indo-Pacific and Indian Ocean region. Andaman and Nicobar Command has an important role to play in this context. Before we move forward, allow me to focus your attention on the comparative military strengths of India and China. It unfortunately doesn't paint a very rosy picture for our country. Thus, we need to do our best in the given scenario, which would lead us to analyze the importance of Andaman Nicobar Command to do much more with the limited resources what we have. Let us first see the brief historical perspective related to the Andaman Nicobar Command. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are among the most strategically located island chains in the world. These islands, forming an important part of Seoul Archipelago in the bay and which straddle the important sea channels, are critical for India's strategic interest. Being the common maritime space between India and Southeast Asia, the Bay of Bengal, and adjoining Andaman Sea, these are critical for peninsular India's strategic maneuvers. China's unabated efforts to expand its footprint in Indian Ocean region, mainly to overcome its Malacca dilemma, which spells out China's fear of maritime blockade of Straits of Malacca, and to fulfill its maritime Silk Road ambition, have fueled apprehension about economic, navigational, and strategic security aspects in this water for many countries. India's aspirations in the bay thus coexist with its own apprehension over the belligerent rise of China in the region. Consequently, the littoral countries as well as the global powers have sought to engage in security collaboration to ensure free movement along the slopes. On this background, strategic location of Andaman and Nicobar Islands makes them well suited to serve as a nodal point in such collaborations. Keeping this perspective in mind, the Andaman and Nicobar Command, or ANC for short, was created in the year 2001 to safeguard India's strategic interests in the Southeast Asia as well as the Strait of Malacca by increasing rapid deployment of the military assets in the region. ANC is the first and the only tri-service theatre command as of now of the Indian Armed Forces based at Port Blair in these strategically well-located islands. The Andaman Nicobar Command plays a very critical role in providing logistical and administrative support to naval platforms and other military assets which are sent on deployment to the East Asia and the Pacific Ocean. India has sought to leverage the potential of these islands and enhance capabilities of Andaman and Nicobar to protect its own interest, strengthen its image as a net security facilitator, if not the net security provider in this region, and monitor the shipping routes passing through these islands. The very important functions which are served by Andaman and Nicobar Command cover control over vital global shipping routes. In that, the zone of influence of ANC has a deep significance in terms of history, culture, religion, economy and trade, EEZs, political and international relations, national security, safety and freedom of navigation and power projection of not only India, but also other nations of South Asia and the Southeast Asia, as well as 3 trillion international trade, which passes through the South Andaman Sea, is also significant. ANC's influence over the gateway of Far East includes 6-degree channel and the 10-degree channel in Indian EEZ in the Bay of Bengal, which is connected to the Strait of Malacca. These are crossed by over 94,000 merchant ships every year, carrying world's 40% foreign trade to and from China, South Korea, and Japan. Andaman and Nicobar Islands account for the 0.02% of India's land, but 30% of its exclusive economic zone. It's a very important factor to note. The control over critical critical shipping checkpoints. Since this is an Indian EEZ and ANC's influence zone connects Indian Ocean with South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean, the safety of Malacca Strait is paramount to the economies of the numerous countries. This command also facilitates as a Quad's force multiplier. The Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, a strategic dialogue between Australia, India, Japan, and USA, is aimed at countering the risks posed by the trade and the security of navigation and nations in and around this region. Quad nations continue to hold regular military exercises in the ANC's influence area, such as Exercise Malabar. Historic and contemporary geostrategic soft and hard power covers historic Indian cultural influence in the region. The area in and around ANC influence zone is also part of the historic Great India, which was dotted with numerous Indianized Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms. The post-port development-led encirclement strategy covers for enhancing the regional connectivity, trade, safety and security, and to protect the Strait of Malacca Channel. India is developing several strategic ports in influence zone of AMC. They cover Port of Chittagong in Bangladesh with the rail connectivity to Tripura, Port of Mongla in Bangladesh, Sitaway as a part of Kaladan Multimodal Transport Project in Myanmar, Sabanga Deep Sea Project under India-Indonesia Strategic Military and Economic Partnership, along with India's Sagarmala projects aimed at developing several coastal ports in India. India is also considering developing more ports in influence zone of ANC, such as Dawai Port Project. Finally, the protections of the exclusive economic zone is an important function of the ANC. The region suffers from the problem of piracy. ANC is a guarantor of safety and the security of the exclusive economic zone of India, which also lies in the vicinity of the EEZs of several other nations, including Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. All these factors point out towards the strategic importance of the ANC. Despite Andaman Nicobar Command's existing capabilities, we still need to do much more to protect our own national interest. Thus, in coming years, India would surely need to do, firstly, re-evaluate its current policy to factor in China's unilateral approach and the growing strategic objectives in the Indian Ocean region. Secondly, recalibrate its response to China because of the factors like China's scant regard for India's sensitivity in the regional geopolitics, despite India's self-restraint with regard to granting access to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Secondly, China's growing presence in the Bay of Bengal and its strategic engagement with Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, which has significantly enhanced in the recent years. And lastly, violation of the EEZ around the Andaman Nicobar Island by Chinese research vessel, illustrating China's growing strategic presence and the intentions in the Bay of Bengal, which probably don't behave very well for our strategic well-being. It would also be important for India to develop a comprehensive maritime domain awareness, what is commonly known as MDA, for acquiring granular and accurate knowledge of both the surface and the subsurface actors in the region. This has become critical with China's growing economic and the strategic interest and the commensurate naval presence in IOR, including regular forays by Chinese nuclear submarines in the area. India also needs to make full use of effective increase in the operational range by almost 750 nautical miles, and make Andaman and Nicobar a base capable of multi-domain 24/7 operations. India needs to improve the network-centric capabilities of Andaman Nicobar Command to cater for use of new technologies like artificial intelligence as well as EW, that is electronic warfare applications. It's important for India to make Andaman and Nicobar Command as ideal secondary base for IFC, DFC, as well as develop Andaman Nicobar Command as credible center for SAR, search and rescue, IUU control, pollution control, and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. In addition to above, India needs to develop Andaman and Nicobar Command as an effective part of the larger Sagarmala initiative. Firstly, to become a credible net-centric facilitator and the first responder. Secondly, to support ASEAN countries in controlling the dragon's menace. And thirdly, bolster the blue economy in the region by supporting renewable energy projects, monitored fishing, and monitored exploitation of the sea wealth in the region. It is sincerely hoped that above initiatives would make India a great power to reckon with in the region and a power to depend on in the Indo-Pacific and Indian Ocean regions. In conclusion, I would like to say India must accord due weightage to the strategic location which makes Andaman and Nicobar Islands a natural platform for collaboration between India and the Southeast Asia. Display strong political and strategic will to make Andaman and Nicobar Command a credible deterrence force for the enemy and a center of cooperation for the friendly countries. India certainly needs to remove the palpable ambiguity about its ambition and allocate high priority to improving communication and other operational facilities to truly make Andaman and Nicobar India's strategic node in the Indo-Pacific, which signifies the critical importance of Andaman Nicobar Command for India, neighboring countries, and the world as a whole. We as a group have always done our bit to continue to strive for supporting not only the Indian armed forces, but India's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, and we'll be playing our role, continue to play our role in strengthening even Andaman Nicobar Command. Thank you and Jai Hind.